Welcome back, STMA woodworkers. I last left you when I was gluing this triangle on the horseshoe. All right. Off camera, I glued another triangle onto the horseshoe, and I was very careful to make sure that it's nice and flush right here. Also, I took the other two pieces that are roughly 9.5, or if they're 9 inches, that's fine too. And I glued the triangles on that as well. All right, sanded it all down. Took my time to sand it all down, get all the sharpness off of the edges, and now I'm ready to rock and roll. We are ready to assemble the, or at least we're ready to glue the sofa server together. All right, so a couple things you'll want to pay attention to here. I have the ability to use this nice 90-degree corner here on the bench, and I hope you have something like that as well. Maybe you can find a board, like a piece of plywood, a scrap, something that has a 90-degree corner. That's going to be really helpful. At the very least, if you had a piece of paper, you could use the 90-degree corner on the piece of paper, because this 90 degrees is going to help you keep your and build your legs so that they are all perpendicular and true to each other. All right, so what I'm doing right now is just dry fitting, just getting everything set up, not in a real big hurry to glue. I just want to make sure everything is in the right spot. What I'm looking for is nice flush fittings right here. Everything is nice and flush here, and then I'll be looking to make sure that these legs are coming down here at a nice, that they're parallel and that they're not squished together, or that they're not angled off to the side or whatever. And I'm going to use every visual cue that I have, like my piece of paper in this instance. All right, so I like this one. Now I'm just going to kind of eyeball this one up, and notice my paper isn't big enough. So what I need to do is I can take a tape measure, and I can measure up here, this gap right here. It should be 6 inches. And therefore the gap down here should be 6 inches. And guess what? It should also be 6 inches here. And as, I don't know if the camera shows, but that needs to be kicked out a little bit right there. And now that is 6 inches, and everything looks good. I'm pretty satisfied with the way this is all laid out. Now, as long as I don't bump these legs, life should be pretty good for me here. I'm able to take this off and put some glue on here and then put it back down. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to go right ahead. And you'll want to make sure that you're doing this in a location that, I don't know, little brothers, little sisters, mean big brothers, mean big sisters, are not going to be touching and playing with this, because you're going to want this to get all set up and let the glue dry for what I would recommend is 24 hours. All right, and so, all right. So now, trying not to move anything, I'm going to put this right back on there. And I like the way that fits. And I like the way this fits, nice and flush there, nice and flush there. And when I'm happy with it, now I'm going to gently put some pressure on there to kind of push the glue into the pores and try to get that to stick a little bit. All right, and I can do the same over here. Just going to hold that probably for about a minute or two. We'll come back to you. All right, that should do that. That should be nice and secure for at least temporarily here. Now, what we're doing here, this is not a strong connection. This is not a strong joint between these pieces right here. We're going to come back and reinforce this with some screws, okay? Later on, make it a lot stronger. So treat this very fragilely. Even tomorrow, 24 hours from now, be very careful with it, because if you drop it, it's possible to break it. All right, I'm going to use the same technique with my upper support pieces. Maybe a touch too much glue on there, but that's all right. I guess it's okay to have more. The only problem with too much glue is it'll squeeze out, and it squeezes out, and then it's kind of hard to get cleaned up. But the good news is this is up in the top of my sofa server, and it is underneath the top, so you're not going to see it. So looks like, oh good, it looks like I didn't have any glue squirt out anyway. All right, so we're just going to put some pressure on that for a minute or two. All right, that's been about a minute right there, so we will move on to the next one. And again, when I'm all done here, I'm going to leave this project. I'm not going to move it around because this is not very strong. And like I said, being just repetitive, when I come back tomorrow, it's not going to be strong either, but at least the glue will be dried. And all right, we're going to set that in. And I'm looking for the same types of things. I'm looking for it to be flush right here, flush with the top of the legs and on straight. I don't want this tilted at an angle or anything like that, because it's going to, this plane right here is going to be the same plane that my top is going to glue to and connect with. So we want these surfaces, these planes, to match up so that the top has a good strong surface to glue to. All right, so I'll hold this for about a minute. All right, so now this is what I'm talking about. You're just going to leave this right here. If you have to guard it all night from your family dog or from Mom always said don't play ball in the house. So don't play ball in the house, because your little brother is probably not a very good thrower and he might throw and hit this. So treat this and guard this until tomorrow, and we'll come back and we'll put the screws in it tomorrow, and then it'll be a lot more strong and durable.